Imagine this. A quiet evening turns into pure chaos when a phone call, meant to be private, suddenly leaks and shakes the entire Frost family to its core. Yes, you heard that Rioton explosive recording has surfaced, and it's not just any random chat. This time, it's Jasmine, the woman who has been at the center of the storm for years. On the line, with none other than Kirk Frost's lawyer. And what she says. It's enough to leave fans stunned, Rasheeda heartbroken, and Kirk completely caught in the middle. The words that slipped out of Jasmine's mouth were cold, calculated, and shocking. She made it clear that Rasheeda, the woman who has stood by Kirk for decades, the mother, the wife, the fighter in this entire saga, would walk away with nothing. Nothing. Can you believe that? Fans are already buzzing with rage and disbelief, asking themselves, how could Jasmine even dare to say such a thing? But that's not all the tone of her voice. The way she laid down her claim like a queen staking her throne has left even Kirk's closest friends wondering if there's more to the story than meets the eye. Was this part of a bigger plan, to strip Rasheeda of her rights, or was Jasmine simply caught in a moment of raw emotion? One thing is certain. This call has blown the lid off every hidden tension that's been simmering beneath the surface. It's no longer whispers. It's no longer speculation. This is war. And it's playing out in the most public and brutal way possible. Viewers are calling it the ultimate betrayal, while others are predicting that this single call might be the breaking point that changes everything forever. And trust me, what comes next will leave you speechless. The air was heavy with whispers, social media threads exploding in real time, and fans glued to their screens as the leaked call continued to ripple across the internet like a storm that refused to die down. In the center of it all were three names that had long been etched into the roller coaster of reality drama: Kirk Frost, his wife Rasheeda, and the ever-controversial Jasmine. The recording was not just some casual exchange, it was pure dynamite. A blow to everything people thought they knew about the already fragile bond holding Kirk and Rasheeda together. In the call, Jasmine's voice dripped with confidence as she told Kirk's lawyer in no uncertain terms that Rasheeda should walk away with nothing if push came to shove. That one sentence, delivered so unapologetically, sent shockwaves that no one was prepared for. Rasheeda, the woman who had built a life, raised children, endured scandals, and stood by Kirk through years of public humiliation, was suddenly being stripped, at least in Jasmine's narrative, of everything she had fought for. The betrayal wasn't just in the words, but in the brazenness, the audacity, and the cruelty of it. Fans described it as the coldest stab in the back. And the reactions ranged from heartbreak to fury, with many wondering if this was the ultimate crack that would finally shatter the Frost Empire once and for all. As the call spread, replayed, dissected, and quoted, the drama inside the Frost household only grew thicker. Rasheeda reportedly sat in silence, her phone buzzing endlessly, as friends, family, and even business associates reached out asking if she was okay. Her face, usually strong and composed for the cameras, was described as pale and unreadable when she first heard the tape. Imagine hearing your rival not only claim a piece of your life but boldly declaring that you don't deserve a dime, as though the years, the sacrifices, the love, and the legacy meant nothing. Sources close to Rasheeda revealed that she broke down in private, whispering to a confidant, "After all I've done, after everything I've swallowed, is this how it ends?" With nothing. That line alone spread across fan pages like wildfire, with hashtags demanding justice for her, and others questioning whether Kirk himself had orchestrated some of this chaos. Was he complicit? Did Jasmine know something about the legal ties that fans didn't? And why was she even speaking so directly with Kirk's lawyer in the first place? Kirk, meanwhile, was said to be pacing the floors of his home, torn between damage control and his own mounting frustration. In one alleged outburst, he shouted at a close friend on the phone, "I told her to stop. I told Jasmine to stop stirring the pot, and now look where we are. Rasheeda's looking at me like I set this whole thing up." That frustration quickly morphed into panic. Because the more he tried to explain, the less Rasheeda seemed willing to hear him. Fans who have followed their story for years know this isn't the first time their marriage has been put on trial in the court of public opinion. But this scandal felt different. It was surgical, personal, designed to cut deeper than any cheating, rumor or tabloid headline ever could. It wasn't about love this time, it was about power, control, and legacy. Jasmine's move to involve the lawyer suggested long-term thinking. Like chess pieces being moved with precision, and Kirk suddenly found himself playing defense in a game he didn't even realize had started. Family reactions poured in as well. Rasheeda's mother reportedly called her daughter in tears, furious and protective, saying, "I told you, baby. I told you she would never stop until she took everything from you." Her words echoed across fan forums, painting Jasmine as a villainous figure who thrived on Rasheeda's pain. On the other side, Jasmine was said to be calm, almost smug, when confronted about the leak. In a conversation captured by insiders, she allegedly brushed off the outrage with a cold laugh, saying, "If Rasheeda was so strong, she wouldn't be threatened by me. She knows her place is slipping." That comment alone sent Rasheeda's supporters into a frenzy, branding Jasmine as heartless and manipulative. But just when people thought they had her pegged as the enemy, a twist emerged. Jasmine began to suggest that Kirk himself had planted the leak to deflect attention away from his own financial troubles. "Ask yourself," she told a mutual friend, "who benefits from me looking like the villain?" This hint at Kirk's possible motives cracked the narrative wide open. The Frost children were not spared either. Reports claimed that Kirk's older kids, who had already expressed disapproval of his past scandals, were livid after hearing the call. One of his sons allegedly texted him, "You're letting this destroy everything we built as a family. How do you sit back while mom gets humiliated again?" That generational anger, bubbling for years under the surface, now erupted in a way Kirk could no longer ignore. Friends close to him revealed that he was losing sleep, caught between defending Jasmine's intentions, because admitting she had overstepped might expose him to legal consequences and protecting Rasheeda from further pain. Fans described the situation as a ticking time bomb, each conversation within the household a potential detonation. And while Rasheeda tried to maintain her composure in public, posting vague yet emotional captions like "Loyalty is priceless" and "Some people want to see you broken," the truth was that behind closed doors, emotions ran high, voices were raised, and the future of their marriage hung in the balance. The fans themselves became characters in this unfolding saga. Twitter threads with thousands of comments debated the authenticity of the leak, with some claiming it was a setup, while others believed every chilling word Jasmine said. Instagram lives were hosted by fans and bloggers who analyzed the tone of Jasmine's voice, the pauses, the way she seemed too comfortable speaking to a lawyer that should have been defending Rasheeda's interests. Some argued it was proof that Kirk had been feeding Jasmine inside information all along. Others suggested Rasheeda had been blind for too long, loyal to a man who didn't protect her when it mattered most. And yet, there were still those who shockingly defended Jasmine, claiming she was simply fighting for her own rights and that Rasheeda had always used her influence to keep Jasmine in the shadows. The division among fans was unlike anything the Frost family had seen before, with hashtags trending on both sides. Hashtag Team Rasheeda and hashtag Justice for Jasmine. Through it all, the tension between Kirk and Rasheeda grew unbearable. Witnesses described one particularly heated confrontation in their home where Rasheeda, her voice trembling with rage, demanded, "Tell me right now, did you know about that call? Did you tell her to say those words?" Kirk, caught off guard, reportedly stammered, "I swear, I didn't. I had no idea she'd go that far." But Rasheeda wasn't convinced. The look in her eyes, as described by someone close, was one of betrayal so deep it could hardly be repaired. Fans who once believed the couple could weather any storm began to doubt if this scandal would finally be the one to sink them. As the days dragged on and the leaked call continued to dominate headlines, one chilling realization set in. This wasn't just about a marriage anymore. It was about reputations, finances, legacies, and the question of who would come out standing when the dust finally settled. The tension that had gripped the Frost household refused to loosen its hold. And with every passing day, the leaked call became less of a scandal and more of a weapon. Rasheeda's silence in public only fueled speculation. Fans wondered if she was strategizing her next move, or if she was simply too broken to face the world. Behind closed doors, however, her strength flickered between quiet tears and fiery outbursts. She reportedly confided in a close friend late one night, her voice heavy with both exhaustion and disbelief. "After all these years, after every sacrifice, I'm hearing from the world that I deserve nothing. Nothing. That's the thanks I get for standing by him." Those words carried across social media as anonymous sources leaked them, and fans' hearts collectively broke. They remembered the Rasheeda who stood on stage with confidence, who built businesses alongside her husband, who mothered her children while juggling the spotlight. To think of her being stripped of her dignity, her security, and her recognition was more than fans could bear, and they rallied behind her with hashtags, video tributes, and messages of support that trended for days. But for Rasheeda, the comfort of fan loyalty couldn't drown out the sound of Jasmine's voice echoing in her mind, repeating over and over, "She gets nothing." Meanwhile, Jasmine appeared almost untouchable, unbothered by the avalanche of criticism. To those around her, she acted like someone who had already won the game before the final round had even started. When confronted in a heated exchange with a friend of Rasheeda's, Jasmine allegedly smirked and replied, "Why? Is everyone so shocked? Did y'all really think Rasheeda would always hold the throne? She's been holding onto Kirk by a thread, and now it's snapping." That arrogance only added fuel to the fire, painting her as a villain in the eyes of Rasheeda's loyal supporters. But in a surprising twist, Jasmine didn't stop there. She began leaking small pieces of information to the press, hinting at financial troubles brewing in Kirk and Rasheeda's empire. "You think I'm the problem," she teased during one cryptic Instagram live. "Just wait until you see the receipts. I'm not the one scrambling." Instantly, blogs erupted with speculation. Was Kirk hiding financial mismanagement? Were Rasheeda's businesses really as stable as they appeared? The possibility that Jasmine held damning evidence sent shockwaves through the fanbase, shifting the narrative from pure betrayal to a high-stakes game of exposure and survival. Kirk, caught in the crossfire, spiraled deeper into frustration and paranoia. Friends claimed he was making frantic phone calls at odd hours, trying to plug the leaks and stop Jasmine from revealing more. One insider revealed that Kirk told his lawyer in desperation, "I can't let her take Rasheeda down. With me, I can't." But even as he tried to clean up the mess, Rasheeda's trust in him was unraveling thread by thread. In one particularly raw moment, she reportedly screamed at him during an argument, "You brought this woman into our lives, and now she's destroying us. Do you even hear yourself? You're begging her to spare me like I'm not your wife, like I'm just collateral damage." Those words cut Kirk to the core, and for once, even he had no defense. Fans who heard of this exchange couldn't stop buzzing, describing the scene as the Frost marriage on its knees. The ripple effect didn't stop at the Frost household. Rasheeda's inner circle, her mother, her close friends, her business partners were all pulled into the storm. Some urged her to walk away, insisting that no empire, no amount of money, no shared history was worth this level of humiliation. Others reminded her of the legacy she had built, cautioning that leaving now would only hand Jasmine the victory she so desperately craved. This divide left Rasheeda more conflicted than ever, caught between protecting her heart and protecting her crown. Fans debated endlessly online. Should Rasheeda finally walk away from Kirk, or should she dig in her heels and fight for what was hers? The debates grew so heated that even celebrities began weighing in, with some publicly siding with Rasheeda and others shockingly defending Jasmine as a woman, simply fighting for her place in Kirk's life, just when it seemed like the narrative couldn't twist any further. Another revelation shattered what little stability remained. Rumors surfaced that Jasmine had secretly recorded multiple conversations with Kirk over the past year. Conversations where he allegedly promised her more than just child support. Whispers claimed that in one of those recordings, Kirk allegedly told Jasmine, "If it ever came down to it, I'd make sure you and our son are set before anything else." If true, this was not just a betrayal of Rasheeda's trust, it was confirmation of her worst fears. Fans gasped at the possibility that Kirk's loyalties were split all along, and Rasheeda's silence grew louder, heavier, as though she were carrying a weight too immense to share. But Rasheeda wasn't the only one suffering. Their children, young and grown alike, were left exposed to the brutal glare of public opinion. One heartbreaking report described their eldest son breaking down, telling a friend, "I don't care about the money, I just want my family back. This isn't worth it." Fans rallied around the children, calling them innocent victims in a war they never asked to fight. And the drama deepened as the Frost family's once private fractures were now open wounds for the world to witness. The leaked call, once dismissed by some as just another scandal, had now spiraled into a saga of betrayal, power, and heartbreak that no one could have scripted better. Every new twist made it clear. This wasn't just about who would walk away with what in a courtroom. This was about pride, loyalty, and the ultimate question, would the Frost Empire survive, or would it crumble under the weight of secrets and lies? The lines were drawn, but the battle was only just beginning. The storm only grew fiercer as the days dragged on, and what began as a single leaked phone call had snowballed into a full-blown war, tearing through the Frost family and spilling across every gossip blog, podcast, and trending thread online. Fans weren't just following the drama, they were living it, dissecting every word. Every look, every post. As if the Frost saga were a reality show unfolding in real time. And in the eye of that storm sat Rasheeda. Still reeling from the humiliation of Jasmine's cutting words. Still trying to piece together how the woman who had caused her years of grief was now boldly negotiating with her husband's lawyer, as though she were the rightful queen of the Frost Empire. The tension between Rasheeda and Kirk, once hidden behind carefully curated public appearances, was impossible to mask anymore. At home, insiders revealed that their arguments became louder, sharper, often spilling into the early hours of the morning. "Do you understand what this looks like?" Rasheeda reportedly shouted during one particularly heated exchange. "You've given her power over me, over us. You've made me look like a fool again, and this time the whole world can hear it." Kirk, visibly shaken, allegedly tried to defend himself, muttering, "I never wanted this to get out of control. I told her to stop. I told her not to say those things." But Rasheeda wasn't having it. The look she gave him, described by a close source, was one of someone who had been pushed past her breaking point. Meanwhile, Jasmine thrived in the chaos. Far from hiding, she leaned into the attention, posting cryptic captions and even liking shady comments from fans who accused Rasheeda of being outdated and holding onto a man who didn't want her. Each move Jasmine made online was like a dagger, aimed straight at Rasheeda's heart. And fans couldn't help but notice the confidence with which she carried herself. Almost as though she knew something everyone else didn't. And maybe she did, because whispers began spreading that Jasmine had even more damning evidence up her sleeve: conversations, documents, maybe even financial records that could rock not only Kirk and Rasheeda's marriage but their entire brand. "She's got receipts," one insider teased, "and if she drops them, it's over." That single sentence sent shockwaves through the fanbase, with debates erupting across platforms about what Jasmine might reveal next and whether Kirk could survive the fallout. The impact on the Frost children became harder to ignore. Their pain, though not always on display, seeped through in small, heartbreaking ways. One fan claimed to have overheard their teenage son on a live gaming stream muttering under his breath, "Man, I wish they'd just stop fighting already." That raw, unscripted moment spread across social media like wildfire, tugging at heartstrings and reminding everyone that behind the headlines were kids caught in the crossfire of a very adult war. Rasheeda, protective as ever, reportedly confided in a friend, The confidence with which she carried herself was undeniable. Almost as if she knew something everyone else didn't. And perhaps she did. Because whispers began spreading that Jasmine held even more damning evidence: conversations, documents, maybe even financial records capable of shaking not just Kirk and Rasheeda's marriage, but their entire empire. "She's got receipts," one insider teased. "And if she drops them, it's over." That single sentence sent shockwaves through fans, sparking debates across platforms about what Jasmine might reveal next, and whether Kirk could survive the fallout. The impact on the Frost children became impossible to ignore. Their pain, though often hidden, leaked out in small, heartbreaking moments. One fan claimed to have overheard their teenage son during a live gaming stream muttering, "Man, I wish they'd just stop fighting already." That raw, unscripted glimpse spread like wildfire across social media, reminding everyone that behind the headlines were kids caught in the crossfire of an adult war. Rasheeda, protective as ever, reportedly confided to a friend, "I don't care what happens to me, but I can't let them see me crumble. They don't deserve this." That quiet resolve became a rallying cry for her fans, who flooded her comments with messages of love, urging her to rise above the chaos and protect her peace. But the drama showed no signs of slowing. Kirk's friends, once loyal, began distancing themselves, fearful that association with him would tarnish their reputations. One longtime associate allegedly cut ties after learning Kirk may have shared confidential financial details with Jasmine, saying, "I can't be a part of this circus anymore. He's burning every bridge he has." These whispers only fueled suspicion that Kirk was far more entangled in Jasmine's schemes than he admitted. Fans speculated endlessly, was Kirk protecting Jasmine because she had leverage, or was it guilt? A twisted sense of responsibility for dragging her into the spotlight years ago. His silence did little to help, and every defense he offered online was torn apart. Rasheeda's mother reportedly intervened again, her fury louder than ever, confronting Kirk during a family gathering. "You've embarrassed my daughter for the last time. You think she'll keep standing by you after this? You think you can play house with 2 women and get away with it forever? No, son, not anymore. This ends here. Witnesses described the room as tense, the kind of silence that follows the harshest truths. Kirk, visibly shaken, couldn't find words, and for the first time in years. Even he appeared like a man who might be losing everything. Then Jasmine struck again. Late one night, screenshots began circulating online, alleged texts between her and Kirk, where he seemed to reassure her that Rasheeda wouldn't see a dime more than she deserved if things went south. Authenticity couldn't be verified, but timing was perfect for Jasmine, who had already positioned herself as the one holding all the cards. Fans erupted in outrage, accusing Kirk of betrayal. Deeper than cheating, this was about erasing the foundation of his marriage, cutting Rasheeda out of her own empire. This is worse than cheating, one fan wrote. This is stealing her life. Rasheeda, ever the queen of silence, stayed quiet, posting darker, cryptic updates, leaving fans to wonder if she was plotting an exetor, preparing for the fight of her life. One thing was clear. This was no longer mere scandal. This was war. And the battlefield extended beyond the Frost home to courtrooms, boardrooms, online, and in the hearts of fans who once believed in the fairy tale of Kirk and Rasheeda. The leaked call had set fire to the Frost empire, and the blaze only spread, consuming friends, family, and fans alike. Rasheeda, though outwardly quiet, was reportedly unraveling behind the scenes. Replaying the call repeatedly, listening not just to Jasmine's words, but to the calm confidence in her tone. It wasn't just what she said, Rasheeda confided to a friend. It's how she said it, like she already knew the outcome. Like she'd been promised something. That statement reignited suspicions that Kirk himself might have given Jasmine leverage. Fans pounced on every inconsistency in Kirk's statements. Each denial seemed overly defensive, almost panicked, as if fearing Jasmine had more ammunition tucked away. Jasmine, meanwhile, basked in the spotlight, no longer just the other woman. She became the self-declared challenger to Rasheeda's throne, unafraid to scorch the earth to secure her place. Going live, she smirked at the backlash. Y'all mad at me? Why? Because I said the truth. If Rasheeda felt secure, nothing I said would matter. But look at her reaction. Look at the world's reaction. Maybe deep down, everyone knew she was never untouchable. Her arrogance sent chills down spines. Fans called it chilling, heartless, and the ultimate slap in the face. Surprisingly, some began siding with Jasmine, arguing Rasheeda had long enjoyed the benefits of being Kirk's wife while Jasmine raised a child in the shadows. The internet split into divided camps, and the saga became less about right and wrong, more about whose story people chose to believe. The tension between Kirk and Rasheeda escalated. Neighbors reportedly overheard shouting one night, voices carrying through walls. "You've destroyed us," Rasheeda allegedly screamed. "Everything we built, every sacrifice I made, and you just hand it all to her." Kirk, frantic and defensive, reportedly replied, "It's not like that. You think I want this? You think I asked for this mess?" But Rasheeda's trust had shattered. Fans speculated she might finally walk away. The Frost children suffered too. Their teenage son reportedly slammed his fork during dinner, shouting, "I can't do this anymore. Everyone at school is talking about it. Do you know what that's like?" Rasheeda held him close, tears streaming, while Kirk sat frozen, guilt etched on his face. Fans called it the cruelest part, innocent children burdened by their parents' scandals. Support poured in for Rasheeda, praised as a mother, while Kirk faced condemnation for letting mistakes spill into family life. Jasmine upped the ante. She released a screenshot showing what appeared to be an email from Kirk's lawyer discussing division of assets, with Jasmine's name alongside Rasheeda's. Authenticity was debated, but timing was perfect. Whether real or fabricated, it painted a devastating picture. Jasmine was no longer a side player. She was at the negotiating table, her hands reaching for the empire Rasheeda had spent decades building. Fans were stunned, enraged, devastated. "This isn't drama anymore," one user wrote. "This is war. She's trying to erase Rasheeda." Rasheeda's reaction to the leaked screenshot was said to be explosive. In a moment of fury, she reportedly confronted Kirk with ice in her voice. "So this is what it's come to. She's sitting at the table while I'm left with scraps. Do you even realize what you've allowed?" Kirk, cornered and panicked, allegedly lashed out in return, saying, "I didn't leak it. I didn't. You think I want Jasmine controlling this narrative? You think I'd risk everything like that?" But his words rang hollow. The more he insisted, the less believable he seemed, and Rasheeda's heart hardened further. The wider circle of friends and associates began taking sides, too. Some stood by Rasheeda, praising her resilience and warning Kirk that he was on the verge of losing everything. Others whispered that maybe Jasmine was right, that Rasheeda's grip on Kirk had weakened, and that Jasmine was only doing what she had to in order to secure her child's future. The divide was ugly, public, and inescapable. Even fans who had followed the Frost family for years admitted they had never seen the drama reach such a destructive peak. And just when everyone thought the scandal had hit its climax, another twist emerged. Rumors surfaced that Jasmine wasn't acting alone, that someone close to the Frosts, possibly even someone in Kirk's own camp, was feeding her information. Suddenly, the betrayal wasn't just external, it was internal, and the paranoia inside the Frost household reached new heights. Rasheeda began questioning everyone around her, wondering who she could trust, while Kirk scrambled to plug leaks and silence whispers. Fans described it as a soap opera come to life, with each new revelation more devastating than the last. The leaked call had started the fire, but by now, the Frost family was standing in the ashes of everything they thought was secure. Their marriage, their family, their empire, every piece of it was under attack. And the question on everyone's mind was simple but chilling. When the dust settles, who will be left standing? If you've made it this far, it means you're just as invested in this unfolding storm as we are. The drama, the secrets, the betrayals, and the shocking revelations are only getting deeper. But here's the thing. Stories like this don't just stay behind closed doors. They shake families, friendships, and entire communities. That's why we bring you every raw detail, unfiltered and unforgettable. If you don't want to miss the next big twist, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on notifications so you'll be the first to know when the next chapter drops. Share this video with your friends so they can be part of the conversation, and let your voice be heard in the comments. Whose side are you on, and who do you think will come out on top? Remember, in this game of love, loyalty, and lies, nothing is ever as it seems, and the truth always finds its way to the surface. Stay with us, because the next reveal might just change everything.